So Danny Welbeck is edging ever closer to signing for Chelsea. Now it looks like we're going to get this transfer over the line now. We've done some very good business this window so far, of course. This one looks like it's going to be the next one. It looks like it could be confirmed at any point today. We got the sort of confirmation that the move was agreed with the clubs. The player had agreed with the contract and all of that. Last night it was given the here we go. It seems like this is going to be a move that's going to be happening. May well be confirmed at some point today. Danny Welbeck now is, of course, 35 years of age. It's going to be a 2-year contract. This is a free transfer for us as well. So again, a free transfer. I just think with these free transfers, it's worth it. It's worth taking it's worth some of these free transfers. They're worth it. I think this could be one that really pays off. It's worth noting Danny Welbeck last season he was in the top 10 top scorers in the Premier League. He's a great, asset to have off the bench. Someone that we can bring on for João Pedro if he's not having his best of games. It gives us another option as well. It just gives us another goal scorer to come into that attack, and someone with so much Premier League experience as well. He's played in the Premier League for so many years now, and he's a player that I've always really liked, always rated really highly. And okay, we're getting him late in his career, and I understand there's a lot of that for that reason. The move's getting maybe some criticism from some angles, but to be honest, I actually think this is a really good move that I'm really pleased about. I think. This is a player that I think will win us games. He's a player that's always scored against us as well. It'll stop that happening. He always seems to score against us. And look for a fair few seasons now he's been at Brighton, and he's been really consistent. Really, he's been just a good performer every season. He's someone that I think always did better than what was expected, and I think he's a player that's been underrated for a while. So to have him at Chelsea, albeit late in his career, I think we're going to get some real good use out of him. 2-year contracts, I think, is a good move from us. I was wondering if it would be 18 months initially, but I think now 2 years is fair. I think he's still, fitness-wise, he's still up to the challenge. And yeah, I think this one is. I think he's a great player. So, it's a great backup to João Pedro, and another option in the attack. He allows. I think there's times last season where we so desperately needed someone off the bench who can, and just another option in that attack who's capable. He's good in front of goal, because we just haven't had that for so long. And I think, João Pedro last season is fantastic, but there was no plan B. I think now there's a clear plan here, and I think seeing this as a free transfer, I think this one really does make sense. Now Jordan Henderson looks to be he's going to make the move as well on a free transfer. I think the Danny Welbeck one's closer, but Jordan Henderson has got a year left on his contract at Brentford, but an agreement he's got with them allows him to leave on a free with a year left, and it looks like he's going to be making the move to Chelsea. Now this one, I can understand the controversy a bit more about this one, because the injury record, there's a bit of an injury sort of record there with him. I'm not against it. I think, again, Premier League experience, and again, it's a player to have off the bench, and it's another option. It's a backup to whoever's going to be the main player in the midfield. I mean, it's unclear what's going to happen with the midfield. Really, we don't know what's about Enzo's future. So seeing this is a free transfer at someone with a lot of proven Premier League experience, again, I'm definitely not against this either. I mean, I think the Granit Xhaka one was always going to be a bit of a long shot, because of how highly he's valued at Sunderland. There was always going to want more than what we was willing to pay. But I think Jordan Henderson on the free transfer, again, it's worth taking the chance. We missed out on John Stones, which is a bit of a shame. Didn't act quickly enough there. So he's gone to Inter Milan on the free transfer, and they signed a 2-year deal there. It was obvious for a lot of last season, I think, it sort of come up that, yes, Stones might not sign a new deal at City, but what kind of, I think he went a bit quiet because he had that injury, and people sort of forgotten. And he had that injury record as well, but I think that one would have been a good one to get on a free as well. So it's a shame we missed out there, but there's a lot more defenders we're linked with. We still need to. I'm still waiting for Lacroix to be officially announced. We're still waiting for Lacroix to be officially announced by the club. Not sure why it hasn't yet. Hopefully that'll be. Hopefully some point today. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. So going the other way from Chelsea, it's looking increasingly likely that Pedro Neto leaves, because part of Rodgers' agreement really was it'd be a guaranteed starter down that left, or in the whatever system we play, it'd be a guaranteed starter, and that's going to make game time very difficult for Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto is a player that I think will leave the club now on good terms. It's always felt like, some people have rated him, some people haven't, and it's time at Chelsea. He divides opinion. I've always thought that I've never had a problem with him. I think that under different circumstances, he deserves another year at Chelsea, and I would not have no problem with him staying. I just think for his own career, he is too good to be. For me, I think he's too good to be just a permanent backup to Morgan Rodgers. So I think a move makes sense for him this window. We've got Liverpool interested in Man City, also Al Hilal as well. Al Hilal, would quite like to go in for him, because then we don't have to lose him to another Premier League club. because I think if he leaves now, I think he leaves on good terms. I think he's had 2 years at Chelsea, and there's been some very good moments, bit of inconsistency, and he's been a lot better than the majority of our wingers though. And I do think that it's always felt like though he could do more. We could see a lot more from him, and it's just not really quite reached the level that maybe people would have thought. But if he goes now, it'll go on good terms. I think Al Hilal, they'd offer a very big fee as well. I think probably more than the other two. So I think maybe that will happen, but we'll have to wait and see on that front. But it's looking increasingly likely Neto will leave. Obviously, Villa have already signed Garnacho from us, with an obligation to buy on a loan. It's looking like maybe a similar thing could happen with Nicholas Jackson, because of course they've been interested in Nicholas Jackson in previous windows. Nicholas Jackson left out of the pre-season squad. Alonso obviously has no intention of keeping hold of him then. So and especially now with Danny Welbeck coming in, I know Menga's got that injury, but he'll be, we've already said there's no way he'll leave on a permanent. He's a player for the future, so I do think Jackson's time is done, and I think the same with the Lap, to be honest, as well. But Jackson's transfer maybe sooner rather than later by the looks of things at the moment. That looks like it's going to be coming up soon. Jorgensen will be leaving as well. It looks like the deal was almost agreed with Strasbourg. He's of course left the pre-season tour, gone back to England. It's looking like that one's going to be confirmed today. Actually, Jorgensen going to Strasbourg. We do know Delap now is a player that Alonso is said he's free to leave as well. So you can sort of see it sort of coming together now. We've had a lot of incoming so far, some good ones. There's still more we need to do, but we did need to ship players out as well. That seems to be picking up. So it seems to be happening a bit more now. The other day, now Ala Djegovic, who we was linked with, looked like the move was going to be imminent the other day. We've had Juventus and Atalanta, who previously pulled out of interest, come back in trying to sign this player now. So it's going to be a bit more difficult than we thought. We're in a bit of a war with other clubs now. But I'm not sure. I mean, this one's gone a bit quiet over the last few days. Again, I think it's going to be a case of waiting to see what happens here. Now, Newcastle seems to have been interested in Badiashile for a while. But again, nothing seems to be really materialising there. But he's left out of the pre-season squad, so again, there's no intention of keeping him. Same with players like Dazassi, and also Trevor Chalobah as well. He's moved to Como. Still, no news there. The move's not officially collapsed, but negotiations seem to have stalled. There seems to be a gap in the negotiations between the two clubs, and it's been that way for. Sounds like it's been going on for about a week now. So we'll have to, again, hoping for some news on that, see what's going on there. Now that's of course really all that can say about the Chelsea situation at the moment. As for other teams in the Premier League elsewhere in the window, big news as well from Arsenal. Don't know what's going on with Guimaraes still, but Vinicius Junior will not be leaving Real Madrid. He'll be staying now, so that's something that's quite big. Arsenal there seemed for a while like there was a real genuine chance that they was going to get him. It seemed like if he comes somewhere in the Premier League, it will be Arsenal, and it was looking like they're going to get him. But with that gone quiet now, will they step up interest for Alvarez and Bracola? That could be the next thing we see. Now, Ousmane Diomande looks to be making the move to Forest. They still look like front runner to get him, which will be a massive signing for them. And Yan Diomande, who's had a lot of interest from a lot of clubs, but Real Madrid were always front runner. He agreed terms with Real Madrid, but there was a gap in negotiations between Real Madrid and Leipzig, who is current club is now. They now have agreed the 100 million fee that Leipzig wanted, and so he'll be making his way to Real Madrid. Rodri has still got interest from other clubs, despite this operation he's about to undergo. I'm not really sure, again, too much about how serious this is, but I'm surprised he's still linked with movers away if he's got this injury. But again, if it's a short-term thing, clubs might be willing to. He's such a top player, look how good he was at the World Cup. Teams might be willing to take a bit of a chance there. But yeah, that's kind of how things are going at the moment. So some change, there's some big news. Of course, coming out of a lot of clubs there. That's kind of the main talking points at the moment. Probably a lot more is going to happen over the coming days, so a lot more updates will be coming.